As you know by the title of this video, we'll be taking a deep look at the Huawei Y7 Pro 2019's camera capability. Y7 Pro 2019 is a latest buzz smartphone from Huawei, available in Nepal for 18,490 rupees. So since it is a buzz smartphone, we do not expect too much out of its camera. So in this video, we'll just check how the Y7 Pro 2019's camera fares in daily uses, the usability of its camera UI, the AI on the rear camera, and we'll also check if the photos are Instagram ready. So let's get started. Now before we get started, you should know that the Huawei Y7 Pro 2019 has a dual camera setup on the back. A main 13-megapixel sensor with f1.8 aperture and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. Now on the front, it has a 16-megapixel camera. Alright, we'll start with this indoor photo of my room. As you can see, the picture turned out pretty nice. The brightness is enough, image looks sharp, and obviously the color looks a bit saturated. Now if we compare the same image with the AI turned on and then turned off, then you can see that there's not much difference. The image with AI on is brighter and has more popping color, else they look pretty much the same. Similarly, with the next image, we're just checking how the different colors appear with AI turned on and AI turned off. For me, there's not much difference between these images. The one with AI feels a little bit warmer though. Now on the third image, with this one, I'm just checking the white balance. This text is not completely white. It has a matte finish and so it looks slightly darker. And this image also has similar profile. So I would say that the white balance is pretty decent on the Y7 Pro 2019. Now moving on to this next image, it is a toy car. It came out pretty nice and it is Instagram ready, if I may say. And if we check the difference between AI on and AI off, the image with AI turned on has much more contrast, looks sharper, and the color is also boosted. So it's really up to you how you like your image, much more natural or much more popping color. Now we'll take a look at the outdoor images. Now this one's shot on early morning and I really like how the picture turned out. There's good amount of detail on the house, the color is slightly boosted, but it has made the image more appealing in this case. Now I took this image later on the same day and the AI detected this scene as sunset. Well, I saw this one right against the light source, so obviously this one's a tricky one. There's not much detail in the shadow, but I guess it is Instagram ready. It looks nice, especially with the AI turned on. The AI has lifted the exposure slightly on the shadows, so there's much more detail and the image is tad bit brighter as well. Now in some situations, I like the AI turned on, especially when I'm clicking pictures of the flowers. So you can see that the image of flowers with AI turned on look really appealing with the lifted highlights and boosted color. Now this one, I just took this picture on aperture mode so that I could get a background blur, and the edge detection turned out quite fair. And the overall image also looks quite decent and Instagram ready. Now on to more outdoor images. This is just a casual shot of my workplace. This image alone turned out pretty good. If we compare the same image with AI turned off, then you can notice that the AI has made the image sharper, the color are boosted, and has helped to get more details on the shadows. And that's nice, but you can also see that the highlight on this part of the building has also been lifted and now it looks overexposed. And similar is the story with other outdoor images. The exposure on the shadows are lifted and the colors are boosted. This could be great for some situations with plenty of colors, but sometimes this could also make the image look a bit too overexposed. But they are not bad though, and all of them would look good on the social media platforms. Now on to some images of a person. In this first sample, the person is in focus and has turned out quite good, but the background has been slightly overexposed, especially the sky. But the image on overall is quite good. Now on to the next one, it detected this scene as portrait, but there's no dedicated portrait mode on this phone. So if you switch between the one with AI and the one without it, the only difference is the color. The one without the AI looks natural and I prefer the one without the AI here. The AI had changed the skin tone and looks pretty unnatural. Now talking about the night scenes, obviously they are not great, but I do like this first sample though. I expected it to be bad, but it's quite decent. Now if you compare between AI turned on and AI turned off, the noise is much more evident in the one without AI. So I guess AI has helped slightly with this night scene. Now onto some more night images. They turned out quite blur and have noise, which is what we expect from a budget phone. So it's not really unusual here. Now switching over to the front camera, the images have good amount of detail, look pretty sharp. It does not have dedicated HDR mode though, like the Nova lineups. But I was pretty impressed with how it handled the bright background. And I do like the front camera on this thing better than the rear camera. So at the end, the Huawei Y7 Pro 2019 has a decent rear camera, even though it's a buzz smartphone. The photos and videos from it are totally usable for social medias, and especially I like the front camera rather than the rear camera. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys liked it, and as always, like if you liked it, subscribe to the channel for further contents like this. Also hit that bell icon to get notifications. Until next time, namaste.